In the shadowy depths of prehistory, when giant reptiles slithered through primordial swamps and mammoths roamed icy plains, some battles might have been so terrifying that they defy imagination. One such hypothetical clash, an impossible collision of two worlds, would pit the polar bear, the modern titan of the Arctic, against Titanoboa, the largest snake ever known to have existed, stretching up to 42 feet in length and weighing more than a ton. Titanoboa was a monster of the Paleocene epoch, a time when tropical jungles sprawled where Colombia now lies. The polar bear, with its colossal strength and bone-crushing bite, represents a different kind of apex predator, one shaped by ice and hunger rather than humid forests and shadows. Though these two creatures are separated by millions of years and vastly different habitats. Imagining a neutral battlefield, perhaps a mist-shrouded swamp at the edge of a frozen tundra, turns this fantasy into a brutal question of survival. Can the raw power and lethal claws of a polar bear overcome the constricting coils and crushing force of Titanoboa? In a confrontation that blends science fiction with nature's most terrifying designs, this showdown of fangs versus claws, coils versus muscle, becomes a savage exploration of strength, strategy, and survival. The polar bear, or Ursus maritimus, is the largest land carnivore on Earth today. Adult males typically weigh between 900 to 1.500 pounds, with exceptional specimens reaching over 1.600 pounds, standing nearly 10 feet tall when rearing on their hind legs. These bears are built for raw power and endurance. Their thick layer of blubber beneath dense fur not only insulates against the Arctic cold but also serves as a form of natural armor. Absorbing bites and slashes, their forelimbs are immense, ending in paws equipped with 3-inch claws, curved and sharp, designed to grip slippery ice and tear through flesh with terrifying efficiency. A single swipe can break skulls and crack bones, while their bite force, estimated at around 1.200 pounds per square inch, psi, can crush the skull of a seal or splinter walrus bones with ease. Despite their size, polar bears are surprisingly agile. They can sprint at speeds of up to 25 miles per hour for short bursts on land and swim for days, covering distances of over 60 miles without rest. Their hunting strategy revolves around ambush and overwhelming power, often lying in wait by breathing holes in the ice to strike seals that surface for air. This strategy minimizes risk, allowing the bear to conserve energy and avoid unnecessary injuries. In a fight, the polar bear's primary advantage lies in its ability to deliver rapid, devastating blows, striking with claws and teeth designed to end battles quickly. In stark contrast, Titanoboa, the undisputed apex predator of its time, was a colossal serpent that slithered through the steamy swamps of what is now South America some 60 million years ago. Reaching lengths of up to 42 feet and weighing an estimated 2.500 pounds. Titanoboa was longer than a school bus and heavier than a polar bear by nearly a ton. Its thick, muscular body was covered in smooth scales, capable of generating incredible constriction force. Scientists estimate that Titanoboa could exert pressure upwards of 400 pounds per square inch, enough to crush the bones of large prey and cause cardiac arrest within seconds. Unlike modern venomous snakes that rely on fangs and neurotoxins to kill, Titanoboa's primary weapon was sheer muscle power. Using its immense body, it would ambush prey from beneath the water, wrapping its coils with lightning speed and constricting until bones shattered and organs failed. Its jaws, lined with curved, backward-facing teeth, could open wide enough to swallow crocodiles and large mammals whole. Once its prey was immobilized, Titanoboa would drag it beneath the water, where drowning would finish what the crushing force had begun. Imagine a mist-shrouded swamp where icy fog drifts above dark waters. A no-man's land between the realms of snow and jungle. The polar bear, muscles rippling beneath its thick white fur, prowls cautiously, nostrils flaring at the scent of rot and mud. Hunger has driven it far beyond its usual range, paws sinking into the black muck. From beneath the surface, unseen but ever present, Titanoboa waits, motionless, a living shadow beneath the water. Its eyes, dark and lidless, track the bear's every move, a slow coil of muscle winding through the reeds. The strike is sudden, a dark blur from beneath the water. jaws yawning wide, teeth glinting. Titanoboa's head, wider than a man's torso, lunges for the bear's foreleg, teeth sinking into fur and flesh with brutal force. The polar bear roars, claws slashing down, raking deep furrows across the snake's scales. Blood, dark and steaming, stains the water. The bear pulls back, but Titanoboa's coils are already winding, each loop thicker than a man's chest, muscles bunching with deadly precision. For every slash of claws that opens dark furrows in its hide, Titanoboa responds by tightening its grip, each pulse of muscle constricting with bone-snapping force. The polar bear thrashes, jaws closing on scales and muscle, fangs driving deep, but the snake's hide is thick and rubbery, absorbing the blows. The water churns red, frothing with bubbles and mud, every heaving breath of the bear a desperate rasp. The coils tighten, ribs crack with sickening pops. Blood drips in rivulets down white fur. But the polar bear, even half crushed and bleeding, is a force of nature. With a last, desperate surge of strength, it rips free a paw and strikes, claws hooking behind the snake's head, ripping down with a strength born of desperation. Scales tear with a sound like wet leather splitting, blood spurting in a dark arc. Titanoboa recoils, uncoiling just enough for the bear to wrench itself free. Sides heaving, flanks streaked with crimson. The battle, though brief, is a nightmare of blood and thrashing muscle. A clash of titans that sends ripples through the dark waters and scatters birds screaming into the mist. As the fog settles and the water stills, one predator lies broken, blood streaming in dark ribbons through the reeds. The victor, eyes black and unblinking, stands amidst the carnage, fur matted with blood, sides heaving, but alive. In the end, the battle between the polar bear and Titanoboa underscores a brutal truth about nature. Even the most powerful predators can find themselves outmatched by an opponent they were never meant to face. The polar bear's raw power and lethal claws might have found victory in sheer desperation. But against an opponent capable of swallowing crocodiles whole, the margin for error was razor thin. In a world of ice and shadow, where fangs and claws dictate life and death, even the king of the Arctic must fight tooth and claw to survive.